To me, rock climbing provides the perfect illustration of faith and understanding, and how these things can go together and should go together. Whenever I bring someone rock climbing who's never been before, I always make sure I explain to them and then even show them how the setup works. We hike around in a safe path all the way to the top of the rock wall that we're going to climb, and then we start setting up. And when you're top roping, you do your setup at the top first, and then you climb from the bottom. And so the rope is already at the top when you start. And so to set up, you find where someone has already placed a set of bolts. Now these are incredibly long, drilled into the rock, and I've never seen one come out or slip out before. But just for safety, we don't use one bolt, we use two. And so you put a locking carabiner in each of the bolts. Then you put your sling in. Now a sling is a short piece of webbing that's sewed into a circle. And so you put that into each carabiners, and then it's very important that you put one twist into one of the ends of the sling. Now what this does is it makes it so that the sling can pivot if you are climbing on the edge of the wall or another edge of the wall, it'll pivot back and forth. But then more importantly, if somehow one of these bolts came out or one of the locking carabiners broke or wasn't placed correctly, then this system would actually lock up because of that twist, and it would lock onto the other carabiner that is on the secure bolt. Now at this point, people watching or up there with me are like, okay, great, this is good, but that sling looks a little thin. And so I just always say, okay, sure, let's double up on the sling. And so then you put a whole nother sling into this whole system, attach that to a carabiner, and that's what you attach your rope to. And that last locking carabiner, in essence, is going to act as a pulley for your rope system when you're climbing. And then you are ready to climb. You walk back down, you get your harnesses on, and one person, the belayer, puts on a harness and then puts on this belay device that automatically locks when there's tension pulled on it. So if the person climbing fell, it auto locks. And then the other person ties in to the other end of the rope, and they can begin to climb. Now what I love seeing happen in real time is this understanding take place, because you kind of sense the unease slowly going down as you walk someone through all of this, and you see them begin to understand and say, okay, like I understand mentally that I can trust this belay system. That makes sense. But the real question is, now will you climb? See, this is like faith and understanding, or belief in theology. It's one thing to have right understanding, theology. That's like understanding the belay system when you go rock climbing and understanding how it all goes together. But it's a different question of whether or not you're willing to go climbing. That's the question of trust. It's one thing to understand truths about God. It's another question to consider, will you entrust yourself to Him? And that is the key and core invitation that Jesus offers everyone. Will you follow me? Will you entrust yourself to me? And so in this series, we're trying to bring these things together so that you have right understanding with deep trust. And the more you understand, perhaps the easier it will be to trust. Just like understanding the belay system will make you more likely to feel comfortable climbing. But the question at the end of the day and before anything else is, do you have that trust?